we've got a madman drummer at the back that looks like Animal. You've got me and my big white guitar. That's looks crazy, like it's bigger than me. You've got we've got Rob, who's this small little angry front man, and then we've got a bass player that looks like Charles Bronson, and then we've got a guitar player that looks like a wrestler.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex Alicia. Tonight I am joined by one of two guitarists in the new wave of classic rock band Piston. It's Jack Edwards. Hiya.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good.
Good. What have you been up to during lockdown? Because I know it's a bit of a strange time for everybody, but especially for a musician.
It's going to sound really weird. I've been enjoying the time off, for being honest. Because I think, because I manage the band as well and I do that sort of stuff, it's been quite full on. Well, last year was quite full on. So I've welcomed the time off because I think we all needed it, because we all, I think when you're in a band like what we're in anyway, we all work full-time jobs as well. We've all got our own businesses and things. So it's not just the band that you're working on, you're having business as well. And we all needed just some time just to get our heads back together. So I've just been relaxing and I've took the time off, to be honest, and I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. Have you been doing Netflix and all the other stuff that people have been up to?
You know what? I'm not really a watcher. I've got quite an addictive personality, so if I start a series, I blast through the series and I can't stop until something's finished. That's my problem. So no, I try and stay away from that. But I've been I learned how to cook, and I've been writing a bit as well. So we've got some ideas for the second album that have come out. And luckily my business has stayed intact, so I've been doing a lot of online teaching as well. So I've been quite lucky.
Yeah. Oh, that's good then, that you've still been able to work through it.
Yeah.
Of course, one of the main things that Piston have got going at the moment is you've got a new single, Let Us Rise.
Yes.
Can you talk me through the themes behind it and how the single came about? Because it's got a video as well, hasn't it? So. Yeah.
Well, basically the story behind that song is that we had it for a while. It was on the album, and we had it remixed by James Curtis Thomas at Essex Recording Studios, just to make it sound bigger and better. And the video was done a fair while ago, actually. So we've been sort of sat on it for a while, and it was meant to come out in March, I believe, alongside the tour that we have with Bad Touch. But everything that got postponed, so the single got postponed, and then we went to go out and tour again in when was it? It was March, April, and then it happened again, and then it got cancelled again, and then rescheduled for next year. So we just ended up getting put back a little bit, but eventually it came out. So we just released it. We released it at the right time. So our press agent is very good at his job, and he knew when to release it. So I just let him.
And how have the responses been for the new single so far?
Great. It's a strong track. It's definitely one that I knew certain publications and stations would pick up on, because it's definitely that type of sound. So it wasn't. It was a pleasant. It was nice to see it doing well and getting the views that it did. It wasn't a shock, because I knew people would really like that song and the remix, and I knew that's what would happen. But yeah, it's been good. It's a tough song to play live. So and we haven't managed to rehearse yet, because obviously of lockdown and stuff.
Yeah.
So we've got a rehearsal on Sunday, and we've got a live stream October 3rd. So if it stays in a set, I don't know, because I'll probably take it out if it doesn't sound very good, if we haven't practiced it as much as we should have.
I mean, you just mentioned the live stream that you've got coming up, and that's obviously with Wolfjaw and Icon Eye as well. Are you excited about this? I mean, it's not the first time that you've played live in lockdown, is it? You've done a few other things. You've done a few other things on Facebook and stuff. But either way, it's going to be weird without an audience.
Yeah, Yeah, it's going to be strange. I'm looking forward to, I get quite anxious about things like that, just to make sure everything sounds good. But we've got rehearsal on Sunday, and we'll just have to see what happens. We might end up playing 20 minutes because I'll kick all the band in the ass and say it's not good enough. We'll just have to wait and we'll wait and see. I'm sure it'll be fine. I get quite anxious about things sounding like things have to sound really good. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I know we've got pyro and stuff, so I get to relive my dream of being in like Kiss. You know, I'll just make sure I won't stand too close to the pyro because I don't fancy going up on flames. I won't wear any hairspray.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, just be careful. You know, you never know. So you just mentioned then as well that you are a bit of a perfectionist. Being a guitar player, do you think that's something that comes part and parcel with being a guitarist? Because obviously you've got to know your instrument, haven't you? So would you say you're also a perfectionist when it comes to your playing and your writing and things like that?
Yeah. Well, I think it being rough around the edges is cool. I think that's fine. Like as I've got older and we've wrote more and more, I like the mistakes. I like the insecurities in the playing. Like I leave all that sort of stuff in. I like that. I find guitar players quite boring if they don't ever make a mistake and start listening to the record. Like I'll just walk out the gig. Like I want to see a bit of danger. I want to see insecurity in somebody's playing. I want to see them pushing themselves, and that's why I like. So my favourite players are people like John Frusciante and a lot of them sort of dangerous players where they don't actually really know what they're doing that well, but they do at the same time. So I'm a perfectionist in terms of things have to be done right and done well. Yeah. But in terms of music, I think it's great when it's not theoretically correct and there's mistakes. I think that's rock and roll, and I think it has to be like that. Otherwise, you end up sounding like all the other bands.
Yeah, and that's live music as well, isn't it? I think that perfection in a live gig that's got to be hard to come by anyway, isn't it? You obviously mentioned a couple of your favourite guitar players. Do you remember the musician that made you want to be a musician yourself? And when did you start playing guitar? Have you been playing all of your life? Is it a recent thing?
Yeah, I've been playing since I was, I'm going to sound old now, I'm 26 now. So I've been playing since I was like 12. But yeah, like the first, it's now sort of secret. The first guitar player that I ever saw was Billy Duffy in the cult, and from that day, like I just wanted to play guitar, and that day changed my life when my mum took me to that gig and I saw him play, and he gave me a plectrum, and which is really strange now because we're good friends now, and on one hand it's like, oh my god, you never forget he had a big impact on my life, and he knows that and he's sound about it. But then on the other hand, he's just a cool dude, and just my mate, you know what I mean? like he'd be like any of your friends or anybody of any's friends. So it's quite a strange. It's a little overwhelming sometimes if you think about it too much. But no, it was that gig that changed my life for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of things being quite overwhelming, I had a little nosy on your website a couple of times, and there are endless amounts of amazing reviews from people like Planet Rock and Classic Rock Magazine, Music Radar. I mean, that's an amazing achievement. Obviously, number one, how does that make you feel, and all of the boys feel, to have those kind of people like Paul Anthony and stuff, commenting on your music in such a positive way? That must feel pretty amazing for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them things that I want to sound real bad now. I don't mean to sound bad, but you don't really realise when it happens. Like, you're just sort of in a little bubble, I guess. And I think because lockdown and like we haven't, a lot of bands haven't really done anything in lockdown. So you do actually look back and you go, oh, wow, that was cool. That gig was amazing. That tour was cool. But at the time, you don't really you just look at it and at the time it doesn't really feel like it's happening. But when you look back on it, and you go, wow, that was happening. That was cool. So like the reviews are awesome. Like when we got voted for, like, me and Luke came top 3 for best new guitarists in the world for Music Radar. I mean, at the time it's mad. It's mad. And we were stoked about it. We got bronze. We got the bronze medal, so we're happy with the bronze. At the time, you just sort of, oh, that's cool. but then you look back on it and you go, well, that was actually a big thing. That's really cool. You know?
Yeah, and obviously with that, is there a sense of a little bit of pressure that you have to kind of like live up to something in a way, or do you just kind of go, nah, never mind, we'll move on next?
No, I don't feel pressure. I don't feel pressure. Yeah, for me, the only competition is just, well, I think you've got to be very careful. I think because there's a lot of bands. There's always bands doing better than you. Like there's always, like, you know, no matter what you do, like even in our small circuit of where we are, there's always someone that's doing better, and there's someone that's doing better than them, and then it just goes up and up the ladder. So it's very easy to compare yourself to people, and that's not good. That's not healthy. Comparison's not healthy. Comparison's healthy if you can see what you need to work on, but sort of looking at someone and thinking, oh, I wish I was doing that. That's not good. So the only competition for yourself, and that's the way I look at things. I don't feel no pressure to be any better than I don't feel pressure. I just sort of the only pressure I feel is to be better than myself, or if it's in terms of the band, is to do the best performance that the band's ever done. Like I don't feel pressure in comparison to anybody else. No.
Yeah. Speaking about, obviously, you know, the new wave of classic rock scene and stuff, obviously Piston are doing really well, but like you say, other bands are doing really well as well. What do you think sets Piston apart from some of the other bands on the scene at the moment? Not in a negative way, but just what is it about your music that you think might be a bit different?
We're just characters. We're characters, you know. We've got a madman drummer at the back that looks like Animal. Yeah, you've got me and my big white guitar. That's looks crazy, like it's bigger than me. You've got we've got Rob, who's this small little angry front man, you know, and then we've got the bass player that looks like Charles Bronson, and then we've got a guitar player that looks like a wrestler, you know.
Good mix, isn't it?
We're just characters. And I think there are bands that are like, I think Massive Wagons, like I think their singer in that, I think it's Baz's name, I think he's a great character, and I think like bands like Skin Dread and they're great characters as well. But it's very hard to say, oh, we sound different, because you can always compare yourself to somebody. But we're just loose, we're loud, you know, we're energetic, we're not perfect, like we don't strive to be perfect. We're just rock and rollers, and that's what we are, you know. That's it. People don't like people run away from our parties, so it's quite funny. We've been kicked out. We end up in a lot of trouble, so we're quite thankful that people like Planet Rock have forgotten some of the naughty things we've done.
Oh, can you give away one of the naughty things you did recently? No. We're not allowed to know. Give us a time when you feel like you've been in trouble. we played Planet Rockstock once, not the last time we did. It was actually the first time, and Brad and Luke ended up fighting, and Brad got thrown over the Planet Rock merch desk, and all their t-shirts and all their merch fell down, and everyone was just rat-arsed, and we all, Piston, get out! And you're not playing here again. So, there's been loads of things. But if you put us and Gorilla Right together, then it gets wild. Well, I wonder if the same outcome may be the situation next year when you go on tour finally with Bad Touch. We'll have to watch out for any, you know, horror stories that come away from offstage antics.
Yeah, they're one of the ones that ran away. we played in France with them. Well, not with them. It was just through pure chance that we were on the same bill, and they were partying with us in France. And I remember it. I'm quite reserved, actually. I'm not really. I don't really drink as much as the others. But I remember I seen Stevie just running away, and the bass player running away because they were fighting. I went to the hotel room. There's wine bottles being thrown at the walls, and people just wrestling and just fighting. And he went, "I can't do this anymore, mate. I can't do this." And he was running off up the corridor. So that was actually the last time. That was the last time I seen Stevie, I think.
Yeah.
So it just depends if we. If Piston don't make it halfway through the tour, then we know why.
It's a little bit of a spoiler there, isn't it? We'll all know, disclosure.
So get your tickets while you can, because we might not make it to the end.
In terms of your music, obviously you released your debut album last year, 2019. and it was just titled Piston. Have you got any new music plans? Are you working on new music at the moment? Can you give anything away or tell us anything exciting about the band?
Yeah, well, so I've wrote a load of ideas, and there are 4 or 5 songs that are pretty much complete, like for the second album, and they were complete pre-lockdown. But we couldn't. When lockdown happened, because we rehearsed in a tiny little shed anyway. We definitely couldn't rehearse then. So we wrote 4 or 5 songs. They're all done, and I've wrote loads of stuff. I've wrote a lot, and Luke's wrote a lot, and Rob's been writing. So there's a lot of ideas. So Sunday when we get in, we're going to rehearse the set a few times for the live stream, and then we're just going to have a bash out on some of these new songs. And there's sort of a little bit. Well, I've been listening to a lot of the Hives, and it takes a little bit of. It's different to what the last album was, and we want to go in a different direction. But I think everybody sort of. We need to find where we're going to go, because Luke wants to go down the White Stripes route, which I'd be down for that. I like Rival Sons and the Hives, and Brad wants to go a little bit more Black Keys. Rob's happy with whatever, and Iggy's sort of happy with whatever. So we just sort of need to sort of see where we're going to go. But there's lots of different, and I've even been listening to like loads of Liam Gallagher and Oasis, and there's some songs that sound like that as well. So we've got to sort of take what we've got and what can be used and what can't be used, and what can't be used, can we change it so it can be used.
Yeah. So you've got a good
but I listen to everything.
Yeah, good mix of influence then. I'm assuming then from the sounds of that, it's going to differ quite a lot from your first album. Is that the case? Is that what you're wanting to do? Are you wanting to, develop your sound and stuff like that? Yeah.
I don't want it to sound like the first album. So I think you get done after a while. Like I think the first album's great, but there's things that you're always not going to be happy with, and there's definitely things I'm really happy with as well. So I think it will be different. It will for sure be different, and I just want to do something that I don't want to sound the same. I don't want to sound the same as the first one. There's nothing wrong if it did. Right? I think the first album's great, but I just want it to sound different. So because I think you evolve as players, and I know we only released it last year, but 12 months is a long time.
Yeah, especially, if you're playing it, and I guess for you guys in the band, you have to play the same set, don't you, all the time? So it must be nice to change it up as well.
There's still some songs that we haven't played live off the album, actually. So we might bring them in. But we did find, because we did that much touring last year and that many shows, like we went on tour with Collateral. Well, we did our own tour at the start, and then we did Collateral. We went on tour with Collateral, we did a co-headline with them.
Yeah. And
then we went out with Planet Rockstock with Gorilla Riot and Hannah Wicklin. Then we went on tour with The Cult. Then we went on tour with Glenn Hughes. Then we played shows with Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons. And then we played an end gig, a hometown gig at the end. So like we're on the road like a lot. So our set was like we're the best when we've had, I don't know, like so many gigs straight after one after the other, and we're sort of on a roll then, and that's when we get the strongest performance. So I'm a little worried about the live stream actually, because we haven't played together for a while, so we need to sort of get rid of all the cobwebs. But I'm sure we'll be fine.
No, I'm sure you'll be fine. I think the only thing you've got to get used to is just not having everybody, screaming back at you, and you can't really ask anybody a question or interact with the crowd because they're not gonna, you're not really gonna be there, are they? So
we've played our fair share of gigs to no one, so I think we'll be fine.
No, I doubt that at the moment. As a band, you've achieved quite a lot so far. Obviously, you just mentioned all the tours that you were on even like last year, and obviously all the things that we mentioned review-wise from Music Radar and Planet Rock and Classic Rock Magazine. Out of everything up to this point, what are you most proud of with Piston?
Going on tour with The Cult. My first gig was The Cult, and he's the reason, that gig was the reason why I started to learn to play guitar. Mm-hmm. And then I just always knew it was going to happen. I know that sounds really pretentious and really weird to say, but like I'm a big believer in like the law of attraction and stuff. And I remember I wrote it down like 3 years ago, like 2017. It was the 25th of October 2017, like 3 p.m. Wrote down, it was on my phone. And I forgot that I even had it on my phone, to be honest. I thought we were going to do this. And I labelled exactly everything we were going to do and everything I was going to do for the band. And labelled in that was we will go on tour with The Cult and we will go on tour with Glenn Hughes. And I completely forgot about I sound like a nutcase, and I had to show people the message for them to believe it. And then I did it. I made it happen. Like there's obviously things like we've got a good press agent, and things did fall into place nicely. But I'm proud of that, because that's something that I always knew was going to happen, and that was always in my head. Like I just thought about it all the time, that I'm going to do that. And I remember I got to the venue, and I just remember looking around the venue. I was like, all right, here we go. This is reality now. Like this is happening. And then that was an amazing experience, because I remember playing like every gig, and I think when you play a gig as well, you can sort of get like tunnel vision and lost. But I never did. Like I'd always look out into the crowd, and I'd be looking around and looking at all the techs that were helping us. I thought, well, we've got our own entourage now, people that work for the cult and are helping us now. It's weird. And I just took it. We've got personal chefs and like having Sunday dinners with Ian Asprey, and I just remember looking around and just taking it all in. It was very overwhelming as well. It was very overwhelmed, but I remember just being so proud, like, of you've done this. Like, well done, mate.
Yeah. Oh, what an interesting memory as well.
Yeah, it was great.
And finally, do you have a message for Piston fans, followers, lovers of your music? Have you got anything that you'd like to say or pass on to them?
Just a big thank you for supporting us, because, you know, we've been around a while, and there was a long time when we didn't do anything. We sort of fell off the radar, because we had a different singer at the time. And then we got a new singer. We wrote a whole album that was going to come out, and then we scrapped the whole thing again, started again. So we were off the scene for like 3, 4, probably even 5. Well, we were off for 5 years, really, from 2014. We were off for 5 years. We worked our ass off, wrote a new album, and then from where we was, we left it. We did all right, but then we absolutely nailed it last year, and I'm very proud of what we did, because I can honestly say, like, hand on heart, there ain't many unsigned bands that manage themselves that even managed to come close to what we did. And I'm very proud of that, because there's collectively there's 5 of us in the band, and there's a couple of people that work behind the scenes. And I'm very, very proud of what we did, and I just want to say a big thank you for everyone that supported us, because at the end of the day, like, they're part of the reason why we got some of them. Well, they're the main reason why we do it, and why we've got some of them cool things like the votes and playing Rambling Man Fair. It was for demand of the audience, you know. So yeah, thank you. Oh. You know.
All right then. Well, that's everything that I wanted to chat to you about today. Thank you so much for joining me, Jack. It was a pleasure to meet you.
You're welcome. Cool.
And best of luck with the tour, with Bad Touch and stuff next year, and everything that you've got going on.
Just let me know on the Bad Touch tour, and obviously guest list you, your friends and stuff. You know. Okay.
Brilliant. Okay, Jack, that'd be fab. I could come and see you live then.
Should be good fun. Should be good fun. If we're still on the tour, we might get thrown off.
I'll witness the carnage with my own eyes.
Yeah, you will. Make sure you come to an early one before we end up being naughty boys.
Okay. All right then. Well, have a nice evening. Enjoy your weekend. Good luck with the show next week. And yeah, I'll catch you soon.
Goodbye. Thank you.
See you later. Bye.
See you later. Bye.